සංසාර සාරෝග විනීත නිසං සන්නේත සාතං සුචිසාර දේසං සන්දේරකං සොන්න තනූපලාසං සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ විසාසං සංසාබිගං කේවල මෝහනාසං සන්නාහ කන්මාර රනේ විශේසං සංසේවිතං දාසි මුදාරහාසං සංහාර ධම්මං පනමේ සදාසං සන්දාස ගන්නාසිත පාපනාසං සන්නාපදන්සින් හතඝෝර පාසං සම්පාරගාමින් සුචිසාරවාසං සංවාර සංගං පනමේ රසාසං නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. Satipatthānaṁ vo bhikkhave desissāmi satipatthāna bhavanaṁ Satipatthāna bhavana gamini patipadanchāti. Venerable sirs, friends in the Dhamma, ladies and gentlemen, again we meet here for our Dhamma discussion and practice. In this session, I am going to explain the Buddhist vision and mission. These topics are very important. Vision and mission. Buddhist vision or Sammaditthi. And mission, Buddhist practice. You know, when you go to a place, you can first see our vision and mission. When you go to an institute, you usually see a very special banner. Our vision, our mission. Buddhism also has this vision and mission, and especially Buddhism has the result too. That is a very important thing. Not only vision and mission, Buddhism explains the result. 𝐁𝐻𝐿𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃. Satya means the vision, and 𝐁𝐻𝐿𝒶 means the thing that we have to do, our mission, and also ℒ𝒶𝓃, it means after we attain the enlightenment or some kind of spiritual levels, we understand that now I have already come to these kind of levels. That is very important. Here especially we are going to explain mindfulness in Buddhism. You know, in the current society, everywhere we can see mindfulness. Anywhere you hear mindfulness, you think that Buddhism also has explained mindfulness, everything is same. But you know, Buddhist mindfulness is different. In this discussion, I am going to explain the identity of Buddhist mindfulness. That is very important. In Buddhism, there is a very special discourse which is Mahasatipatthana Sutta. the great discourse of mindfulness. There, mindfulness or Satipatthana explained as a one word. But when we refer other references, discourses in Buddhism, Buddhist mindfulness is divided into three. Here, I have selected the topic that which comes in Samyutta Nikaya, named Vibhanga Sutta. In Vibhanga Sutta, the Supreme Buddha explains that Satipatthānaṁ o bhikkhave desissāmi Satipatthāna bhāvanaṁ Satipatthāna bhāvanāgāmini patipadaṁ. The Buddha says, O monks, mendicants, I explained mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. These three things are very important. When someone says that mindfulness, you can understand whether that person knows these three things or not. Mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness means living in the present moment based on our physical body, feelings, mind or mental formations. Mindfulness meditation means reflecting on impermanence or insight meditation. Satipatthana based on the conventional truth. Satipatthana bhavana based on ultimate truth. And Satipatthana bhavana gamini patipada, or the path that leads to mindfulness meditation based on the Noble Eightfold Path. With right understanding. These three things are interrelated. When we practice anything which comes in Buddhism, Buddha explains very clearly, Janato aham bhikkhave passato asavānaṁ khayaṁ vadāmi, no ajanato no apassato. I proclaim the liberation for those who know the path, who see the path. Sammaditthi pure javang. Right understanding is first. Right understanding is the forerunner. Vision is first. Then mission. Vision is very, very important. Before we start our practice, we should have correct vision. What we practice, where we are going to, what the destination is. That is very important. For an example, when you go to a place, very new place, first of all, you should know the place where you are going to. Address. Without address, are you going somewhere? No. We never go to anywhere if we don't know the place. If a person goes like that, it means we know who is he. Without knowing the place, about the destination, we never go anywhere. We don't go anywhere. First of all, we should know the place where we are going to. Before we go somewhere, we know the place where we are going to. Buddhist practice also like that. Before we start our spiritual journey, we should understand the clear path by listening Dhamma, associating with the good friends. Noble association. This path can be divided into conventional truth and ultimate truth. The very first one, understanding the karmic law, guides us to go in this world for a successful, blissful life, purifying our mind. And also, second, ultimate truth helps us to overcome the samsaric circle. As the result of having the correct vision in the mundane level, in the karmic law, we practice 3 meritorious deeds: dana, sila and bhavana. Generosity, virtue and meditation. And ultimately, we reduce 5 hindrances for a long time. It ends with concentration. That is the purpose of first step of right understanding or vision. Then we meet the second step of vision, which belongs to the ultimate truth. That directly helps us to overcome the suffering completely. There we understand how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Here we understand the dependent origination, Patisampada, and the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths and the dependent origination are interrelated. The more we understand the Dhamma, the more we understand the dependent origination. The more we understand the dependent origination, the more we understand the Buddha. Yo Dhammam Passati, so Patisampadam Passati. Yo Patisampadam Passati, so Dhammam Passati. Understanding the Dhamma and the dependent origination are interrelated. On the other side, understanding the Dhamma helps us to understand the Buddha. Understanding the Buddha helps us to understand the Dhamma. That is why Dhamma explained, yo Dhammam Passati, so mam Passati, yo mam Passati, so Dhammam Passati. The Buddha says, he who sees me sees the Dhamma. He who sees the Dhamma sees me. The Buddha says. And also, he who sees the Dhamma, he sees the Buddha and Sangha too. Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha are interrelated. And also finally, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and the dependent origination, these 4 things are interrelated. Here we understand what is the Buddhist vision. Buddhist vision means it doesn't belong to Buddha. Buddhism is not an invention. It is a discovery. In this world we can see inventions are discoveries. A lot of things we can see in this world as inventions. But, Buddhism is not an invention. It is a discovery. The Supreme Buddha says very clearly, whether a Buddha appears or not in this world, this reality is forever. The Buddha did, which is that he discovered this reality by himself and he proclaimed it to the world with compassion. That is why we respect him. He understood, he realized, discovered and proclaimed what happens to our life. What is the nature of our life? Our life is our internal senses and external objects. What happens to our life when we see something? When we see something, according to our senses, we experience the world. But we usually think that according to the external world, we experience something, isn't it? But actually, we experience the external world according to our senses. Our senses depends on our present mental situation. Our present mental situation depends on our vision or perception. According to our vision and perception, our mental situation always changes. According to our mental situation, we create the senses eye, ear, nose, so on. According to our senses, we experience the world. And also when we see something, we contact the world. We contact the color. We contact the sound. We contact the smell through our nose. We contact some taste. We contact some feelings through our physical body. But when we recognize it, the very first experience has already fallen away, ceased. We usually think that we understand something through our eye consciousness. Actually, through our eye consciousness, we get only the color, the very primary experience. It is very instant. It arises and immediately ceases. When we recognize something, we understand everything through our mind consciousness. When we recognize something through our mind consciousness, our eye form, eye contact, eye consciousness, everything has disappeared. Everything has ceased. But our ignorance doesn't believe it. As soon as we see something, we understand that I experience something which is in the outside world at the present moment. I can give you an example. When you eat something, having something in a plate, when you eat something, when you are tasting something, you immediately look at the food which is in the plate. When you are tasting, you think that I am tasting something which is in the plate. Is it true? At this moment, if you taste something, that food is where it is. It is in your mouth. Have you ever thought that when you are eating something, the food is here? Never. Always we think that when you taste something, you immediately look at the plate. You think that taste is in the plate. Is it true? No. If you are tasting something, that food is in your mouth. Is it beautiful? It is so ugly. The food which is in the plate, it is very beautiful and very good smell. But when it comes here, it is good smell? No. Our entire life is like that. These things are the food which is in the plates. What is the thing that we now understand? It is like the food which is in our mouth. In the same way, whenever we understand something through our eye, ear, nose, or anything, that is the thing, mind, mental formations plus mind consciousness. We can never understand something through our eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, or body consciousness. Buddha says very clearly, Panchahi Vijnanehi na kinchi dhammam pativijanati anyatra abhinipatamatta. We are unable to recognize anything through 5 consciousnesses like Chakku Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, Gahana Vijnana, Jivha Vijnana, Kaya Vijnana. Sabbe Dhamma Mano Vijnana Dhatuya Vinaya. Everything should be understood by mind consciousness. When we recognize something through our mind consciousness, the other things that based on our mind consciousness, which are eye, ear, nose, eye consciousness, eye contact, everything has already ceased. If you have this understanding, our mind is not fixed in the material world. If we are in mindfulness, if we don't know this reality, as soon as we see something, immediately our mind depends on the outside material world based on ignorance. It means we are in the samsaric circle. Avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam. This is the way how suffering arises. If we see something ignorantly, immediately our mind depends on the material world or persons in the external world. It means we are in the samsaric circle. Avidya paccaya sankhara, with the arising of ignorance, mental formations arise. With the arising of mental formations, consciousness arises. Sankhara paccaya vijnanam. Vijnana paccaya nama rupam. With the arising of consciousness based on ignorance, nama rupa, mentality and corporeality, so on. Finally, jati paccaya jara marana sokha parideva. With the arising of birth based on ignorance, sorrow, decay, lamentation, sickness, death, separation from dearest, all the sufferings arise. And also, whenever we are mindful based on this vision with wisdom, as soon as if we know that the external world has already ceased, I recognize everything through my mind consciousness. What happens to my mind? I am released from the material world. If I have released from the material world, it means I have released from all the sufferings, sickness, decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, everything. Avidyayatve vasesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho. With the complete cessation of ignorance, mental formation cease. Sankhara nirodha vijnana nirodho. With the complete cessation of mental formations, consciousness ceases. This is the nirodha 𝒮𝓃, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. This is the place where we should be confident in. 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃. We trust in what the Blessed One realized. Here we understand how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Avidya paccaya sankhara, with the arising of ignorance, mental formations, consciousness, mentality and corporeality, six senses, everything arises in the samudaya 𝒮𝓃, the noble truth of the origin of suffering. That is the way how suffering arises, how we go around the samsaric circle. And also we know the cessation of suffering. If we don't have this ignorance, avidyayatve vasesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho, with the complete cessation of ignorance, mental formations completely cease. As a result of this, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, jati nirodha jara marana sokha parideva, dukkha domanassa nirodha, with the complete cessation of birth, decay, sickness, sorrow, lamentation, all the sufferings immediately cease. This is the Buddhist vision. As soon as we see the vision, if we are trusting this reality, if we are confident in this message, what the Blessed One explained, we immediately find the path What is the path? What is the path? The Noble Eightfold Path. Among the Four Noble Truths, the first truth should be understood. The second Noble Truth should be overcome. Next one, the third one, should be realized. The fourth one should be practiced. Now we find the practice which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Buddha has explained it in various ways according to the audience. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice only one thing, which is mindfulness. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice only samatha and vipassana, concentration and insight meditation. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice three disciplines, sila, samadhi, prajna. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice fourfold mindfulnesses. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice 5 spiritual faculties. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice 6 senses. Sometimes Buddha has explained you have to practice 7 enlightenment factors. How did Buddha explain these ways? As soon as the Buddha met a person, Buddha understood through his Indriya Paropariyatta Jnana, Asya-anusaya Jnana, Buddha read your mind, how much wisdom you have practiced in your previous lives. We don't have that skill. As soon as Buddha meets an audience, Buddha reads their minds, how much they have practiced their spiritual faculties in their previous lives. According to their wisdom, Buddha has explained the path. But here we have to read a lot of things and we have to practice many things. But finally, all of them can be summarized into one thing, which is mindfulness. When we practice 3 disciplines, 4 Noble Truths, 5 spiritual faculties, 7 enlightenment factors, everywhere we can see mindfulness. In one side mindfulness, on the other side mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness based on the conventional truth. Mindfulness meditation based on the ultimate truth according to the Vibhanga Sutta. We have been discussing the Vibhanga Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya. There Buddha says, O monks, mendicants, I explain 3 things, mindfulness, mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness means samatha bhavana based on conventional truth. Mindfulness meditation means insight meditation, vipassana bhavana based on ultimate truth. The path that leads to mindfulness meditation means the Noble Eightfold Path based on right vision. However, when we have this understanding, we know the vision, we know how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. As soon as we know this path, if we are confident in this message explained by the Buddha, our inner courage gradually increases. Why is that? We are hurried to overcome suffering. Why is that? If we are ignorant, we have a lot of things that causes us to suffer. Nobody likes suffering. Everyone likes to overcome suffering. Therefore, our inner courage gradually increases to practice this path. Then we give the priority to practice this path. First, saddha or confidence. Saddha molika sabbepi kusala dhamma. all the wholesome activities depend on confidence or saddha. When we have saddha, the next quality which is virya, energy, inner motivation, courage, dedication. We sacrifice everything in order to achieve the liberation. Then we meet the third one, saddha, virya. The third one, sati, in 5 spiritual faculties. When we come to the practice which is mindfulness, the Buddha says, 𝐂𝐻𝐿𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝒌 පරිද්දවනං සමතික්කමාය දුක්ඛ දෝමනස්සනං අත්ථංගමාය ඥායස්ස අධිගමාය නිබ්බානස්ස සච්චිකිරියාය. The only path in order to overcome suffering, the only path in order to purify our minds, the only path in order to overcome sorrow and lamentation, the only path in order to gain the knowledge, and the only path for the liberation, which is fourfold mindfulnesses. Satara Satipatthana, or mindfulness. What is mindfulness? In the first step, we keep our attention in the present moment, and also we are aware of our body, feelings, mind, and mental formations. The very first step, based on conventional truth, with samatha bhavana or concentration meditation, when our mind gains concentration based on the sammuti satya or conventional truth, we reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of body, feeling, mind, and mental formations. Insight meditation, arising and ceasing of our entire life. This is the insight meditation. Here, Buddhism has explains a lot of details that how we practice mindfulness. But among them, there is a very special one meditation technique which is Anapanasati Bhavana. Anapanasati Bhavana is highly appreciated in Buddhism. Buddha says, when we practice one, the other 4 things gradually develop. When these 4 things gradually develop, other 7 factors gradually develops. When these 7 faculties gradually develop, we achieve vidya vimukti, knowledge and liberation. What is the one thing? First one thing, mindful breathing, anapanasati. If a person practices mindful breathing, anapanasati, breathing meditation, he is able to develop fourfold mindfulnesses. When he develops fourfold mindfulnesses, 7 enlightenment factors gradually develop. What are the 7 enlightenment factors? Sati, Dhamma Vicaya, Virya, Piti, Passaddhi, Samadhi, Upekkha. Sati, mindfulness, Virya, energy, Dhamma Vicaya, keen investigation, Piti, rapture, Samadhi, concentration, and Upekkha, equanimity. As a result of developing these 7 spiritual faculties, 7 enlightenment factors, we are able to attain vidya vimukti, knowledge and liberation. Finally, we can say very special meditation technique which is highly appreciated by the Buddha is that Anapanasati Bhavana. But vision is first. Without vision, we are unable to reach the destination. Vision is first, then mission. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. Therefore, these vision and mission both are very, very important in this path. First, we know how suffering arises, how we reduce suffering. Now we have correct vision. Now we know the address. Then we start our vehicle. What is that? Mindfulness, or especially the Noble Eightfold Path. That mindfulness is not alone. That is very important. We can see mindfulness everywhere. Everywhere we can see just mindfulness. But Buddhist mindfulness is not alone. It is one of the facts of the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path. What is that? Samma Ditti, right understanding. Samma Sankappa, right intention. Samma Vacha, right intention. Samma Vacha, right speech. Samma Kammanta, right action. Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. Samma Vayama, right energy. Samma Sati, seventh one, right mindfulness. Then Samma Samadhi, right concentration. Whenever we practice mindfulness, we should have right vision and Samma Vayama, right effort as well. If you refer the discourse of 𝒮𝓃 Sutta, I think Mr. Will, you have read 𝒮𝓃 Sutta, which comes in Majjhima Nikaya. There especially Buddha says the importance of Samma Ditti, Samma Vayama and Samma Sati. Always these three things should be together. Right understanding, right effort and right mindfulness. Whenever we practice right mindfulness, there we should have right effort and right understanding as well. These three things are very important. These three things are interrelated. That is very important. And also, based on the Noble Eightfold Path, we practice Anapanasati or breathing meditation. First, we have Samma Ditti, then we have Samma Sankappa, right intention. Nekkhamma Sankappa, Avyapada Sankappa, Avihimsa Sankappa. We have here, dedication or sacrifice or generosity. And Avyapada Sankappa, loving kindness. That is very important. On the path of liberation, as soon as we have the vision, we practice generosity and also we practice loving kindness meditation. If we don't practice loving kindness meditation, be sure we are not on the path of liberation. That is why the Buddha says in Metta Sutta, the Karani Metta Sutta, Yantan Santam Padang Abhisamecca, Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhidatta. He who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice loving kindness meditation. Contemplating thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Where does loving kindness meditation come in the Noble Eightfold Path? The second one, which is Samma Sankappa, Avyapada Sankappa is there. And also we come to Sila or virtue. Samma Vaca, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. These three things belong to Sila or virtue. When we speak something, we should think again and again whether it is correct when we are on the path of liberation. Not only that, Samma Kammanta, when we do something, we think again and again whether my actions are correct, whether my behavior is correct. Not only that, there is another thing. What is that? Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. Don't forget it. Your job should be righteous if you are on the liberation. It is very important. Every cent, every pound, every dollar, we should earn righteously and honestly when we go forward on this path. Samma Ajiva. Overcoming bad or negative earnings, we should earn everything righteously and honestly that belongs to right livelihood. Then we come to right effort, Samma Vayama. What is the effort? We have effort in order to overcome unwholesomeness, and we have effort in order to develop wholesomeness. That is right effort. Next we come to our very beautiful fact, which is Samma Sati, right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is the best friend in our life. Buddha says, 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝒃. Buddha invites us to live in the field of the spiritual father. Not go away from the field of the spiritual father. Who is our spiritual father? The Buddha. Buddha says, 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒃 ℒ𝒃. ℒ𝒃 means father. ℒ𝒃 Vishaya. Vishaya means the field. Live in the field of your father. Whenever we go away from the field of the spiritual father, we are in the field of the devil, Mara. It means we are controlled by the Mara. Whenever we are in the field of the Father, which is the field of the Father? Mindfulness. Whenever we are in the mindfulness, it means we are near the Buddha. We have protection. We have refuge. We have insurance, assurance. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means anyone or anything can control us. Whenever we are in the field of the Buddha, which is in the mindfulness, it means we are aware of everything that we experience at the moment. When I announce you, when I speak in here, if I think that there are people here, actually I am ignorant. Normally I think that there are people who are listening to me, but actually I am talking to myself actually. When I recognize you, the formal world has ceased. I am dealing with the empty world. It doesn't mean that there is no material world. Actually, there is a material world, which consists with the four fundamental elements: earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. With these four things, there is a material world. But the very important thing, when we recognize this material world, the very first experience based on the material world has already ceased. I am dealing with my own mind, my mind consciousness. If you have this understanding, little by little we go forward. We know very well, whenever we are ignorant, we are controlled by the outside world. If we are controlled by the outside world, we consist with suffering. Whenever we are mindful and wise, we consist with our inside meditation. It means we have released from the material world. If we can release from the material world, it means we release from all the sufferings based on the formal world. With this understanding, we practice again and again the Noble Eightfold Path. When we speak something, when we do something, when we think something, when we do some jobs, everywhere, everything we do with this understanding. Then Buddha says very special discourse, which is that Abhiññā Sutta that comes in Anguttara Nikaya in the fourth chapter, Abhiññā Sutta. As a wise person, what we should realize. As a wise person, what we should overcome. As a wise person, we should achieve. As wise persons, what we should develop. As a wise person, we should realize the five aggregates: Rupa, form, Vedana, feelings, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations and consciousness. Every moment, these five things arise and they immediately cease. Whatever we experience through our senses, at that moment, these five things arise. Not only they arise and they immediately cease without remaining anything. There, Buddha has explained a very golden sentence. You know, Buddhism has a golden sentence. Ahutva sambhutang hutva na bhavisati. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. The previous experience didn't come to the present as it is. And also the present experience will not go to future from the present as it is. But the previous experience influenced the present moment. The present moment influences the next moment. But nothing goes here and there permanently. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. Everything. Our internal senses, external objects, all the things in this world, wherever, whatever we experience in the present moment, this is the nature according to the ultimate truth. According to the ultimate truth, which helps us to overcome the samsaric circle completely. But according to conventional truth, there are a lot of things. We have children, we have vehicles, we have many things. Before we experience, there was something. When we experience, there is something here at the moment. After we experience, it remains here. That belongs to conventional truth. The world goes here and there. The samsaric circle happens according to this conventional truth. Buddhism doesn't reject it, since punya or lokiya punya, the merits in the conventional truth, merits depend on this truth. Buddhism never neglects doing meritorious deeds. Why is that? The reason is that some people are unable to understand this reality at this moment at once. Therefore, they should have a refuge in the samsaric circle. Therefore, they have to collect some meritorious deeds in order to succeed their next life. They should have blissful life. For that, Buddha has explained the punya karma based on the conventional truth. Meritorious deeds. Meritorious deeds are needed for the people who are in the samsaric circle until they come to their destination. Buddha has appreciated doing good deeds in this world. While Buddha is appreciating doing good deeds based on the conventional truth, on the other side, Buddha encouraged us to understand this ultimate truth and practice the path. We should understand the reality as it is. There we understand the 5 aggregates, and also we understand what are the things that we have to overcome. Avidya, bhavatanha, ignorance and clinging to the world should be completely eradicated. Ignorance and attachment, or ignorance and the clinging to the world, should be completely overcome. That is the samudaya satya, the noble truth of the origin of suffering. And the third one, Buddha has explained as the wise person with his supramundane knowledge what he should achieve. Vidya, vimukti, knowledge and liberation. That is the nirodha satya, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. And finally Buddha says, as a wise person with his supramundane knowledge what he should develop, which is the noble eightfold path, 𝐓𝐢𝐩𝐢𝐻 ℉. That is the Magga Satya, the path that leads to getting rid of suffering. Magga Satya. Having this understanding, gradually we go forward by practicing Dhamma. There is a very special thing. We usually think that when we listen to Dhamma, that is another thing. Next, we are going to the jungle, forest, or any other place. We should meditate, closing our eyes. But actually, that's not true. In Buddha's time, a lot of people attained enlightenment while they were listening to Dhamma, opening their eyes, not closing their eyes in the meditation room. Many disciples in Buddha's time attained enlightenment while they were listening to Dhamma, opening their eyes. Mr. Will, Panchavagya Bhikkhu, they attained enlightenment while, they were listening to Dhamma. They attained Sotapanna while they were listening to Dhamma. They attained enlightenment, arahantship, while they were listening to Anatta Lakkana Sutta. You know Bahya Daruchirya? Bahya Sutta? Bahya Daruchirya attained enlightenment while he was listening to Dhamma in the street. While we are listening to Dhamma, opening our eyes, we can attain enlightenment. Therefore, listening to Dhamma is very, very important. Sometimes when we are meditating, closing our eyes, we fall into sleep. But when we are listening to Dhamma, opening our eyes, we are completely awakened. That is a very good place to develop or cultivate our mental formations, mindfulness and wisdom. As soon as we see something, we hear something, we taste something, we smell something, we feel something, if we can understand, now the first experience has overcome, has ceased, has disappeared. Now I experience everything through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also not permanent. That also arises and ceases at the moment. As soon as we reflect on this reality, we release from the outside material world. At the same time, when we contemplate on the impermanence of our mental formations, we release from even our mental formations too. 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝐶𝐿𝒂. Whenever we release from the material world and insight or our mental formations too, that is the releasing, that is the freedom, that is the liberation, emancipation, enlightenment or Nibbana. This is just we are listening to, but we have to continue it again and again based on mindfulness. We should increase the time of duration that we practice this reality. Then this understanding come to permanent in our life. Having this understanding, we develop our inner qualities. Especially here we practice 5 spiritual faculties: saddha, confidence, energy, virya, sati, mindfulness, samadhi, concentration, and wisdom. Panya, it means we every moment reflect on impermanence. Every moment, all the experiences arise at the moment, they immediately cease at the moment. This is the way for the liberation, what the Supreme Buddha explained kindly for us. If we are able to develop this understanding, actually we are so fortunate. This is the way how we give a real value to our life. Our value of life depends on how we think, our attitude, our understanding, our vision is our value. If we can think in this way, according to what the Buddha taught, according to what the reality actually, it means our life is very valuable. Even though we have no a lot of material things or money in our life, but mentally we are very rich. Why is that? We have overcome suffering. And also, we are happy. We don't depend on anything in the material world or even in our mental formations. We always look at inside. Ordinary people always look at the outside world, the material world, as soon as they experience something through their senses. But we who know the Dhamma, as soon as we recognize something through our senses, we look at inside. What happens to my mind at this moment? We look at inside. Looking inside is that insight meditation, which is vipassana bhavana. Insight meditation. The opposite is insight meditation is that ignorance. When we look at outside that there is something at this moment, that is the nature of ignorance based on suffering. Whenever we look at inside, what happens to my mind at the moment based on wisdom, that is insight meditation, that is the cessation of suffering. Therefore, here especially we have to practice very special meditation technique, which is Anapanasati Bhavana. mindfulness meditation. That is a very peaceful, beautiful, meaningful, wonderful, meritorious and meditation technique. Now let's practice for a few minutes mindful breathing. Okay, first of all, for a few minutes, let's we stand mindful standing. Okay, that also a meditation technique which belongs to 𝒮𝓾 or the contemplation of body. Standing, standing, standing. Please be aware of your body posture that you are standing here. Please scan your body from head to legs and from legs to head. This physical body consists with four fundamental elements: earth element, water element, fire element and air element. These elements depends on the food that I have been taking. Ahara samudaya roopa samudaya, ahara nirodha roopa nirodha. Because of food or nutrition, this body arises as the result of the cessation of food or nutrition, nutriments, this body also ceases. This body is not a particular person. This is a result of some causes. Every moment, this body arises and ceases. With the arising of nutrients of food, this body arises as the cessation of nutriments of foods, this body also ceases. Again, please be aware of your body posture that you are standing here, mindfully standing. Again, I am going to sit slowly and mindfully. Please be seated mindfully and slowly. Okay, please be seated relaxedly. Okay, please be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. Close your eyes gently if you are comfortable. Relax your body posture. Please keep your attention around the nose or upper lip. Relax your body please again. Be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. From your head to legs and from your legs to head. Again, keep your attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment based on mindfulness. Now we are going to practice mindful breathing. Very natural breathing we are contemplate on. We are aware of how very natural breathing in and out. When I breathe in, I am aware of that now I am breathing in. When I breathe out, I am aware of that now I am breathing out. I keep my full attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. I keep my full attention and awareness with the mindfulness. I am fully aware of my breathing in and out. When I breathe in, I know that I am breathing in. When I breathe out, I know that I am breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am fully aware of my breathing in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am fully aware of my breathing in and out. I keep my full attention in the present moment, breathing in and out. When I am mindful, breathing in and out, my mind gradually gains concentration in the present moment. With this concentration in breathing, I feel happy in the present moment. With this happy mind, I reflect on impermanence. Even though I am closing my eyes, I see some forms that I have already seen, but those forms has already ceased. Those forms are not in my world. They have already ceased. I just read my mind at this moment. Forms, sounds, smells, tastes, feelings, everything I remember has already ceased. I just read my mind at this moment. My entire life is like that. Even though I am opening my eyes, when I see something, when I understand something, the formal world has already ceased. Always I recognize something through my mind consciousness. When I recognize something through my mind consciousness, the entire material world has already ceased. My present mental formations and mind consciousness also arise at the moment with the causes, and they immediately cease when causes cease. This is the reality of my life, whether I know or not, whether I like or not. If we can reflect on this reality again and again, based on concentration, used in breathing meditation, this is the path to liberation. Everything arises at the moment, they immediately cease at the moment. My entire life is that 5 aggregates: Rupa, form, Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana, consciousness. Every moment, these 5 things arise with the conditions, and they immediately cease with the cessation of conditions. This is the reality of my mind, of my world. This is the reality of my entire world. Reflecting on this reality in permanence, I am breathing in and out with awareness. Aniccanupassee viharati assa 𝐂𝐻𝐿𝐶𝐻𝐼𝐚𝐻𝐿𝐶 Aniccanupassee passa 𝐂𝐻𝐿𝐶𝐻𝐼𝐚𝐻𝐿𝐶. Okay, day by day, I try to practice this path for my liberation, spiritual happiness. This is my real refuge. This is the path to liberation. Sabbe sankhara anicca. Everything is impermanent. Everything is dissatisfactory. Everything is selfless. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. With this intention, now I am going to end breathing meditation, mindful breathing. But furthermore, I am aware of this reality for my emancipation, liberation, and freedom. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, now we practice breathing meditation. Actually, breathing meditation is very peaceful meditation technique in Buddhism. Buddha has highly appreciated this breathing meditation. This is a very peaceful meditation technique. And also, when we practice Dhamma as a habit, actually that habit comes to a hobby. Practicing Dhamma should be a hobby. First we start it as a habit, but when we see the results with happiness, gradually it comes to our life as a hobby. Whenever we are alone, we practice Samatha Bhavana. And also when we are with other people, we can practice insight meditation. That is a very special way. When we are alone, we can practice easily Samatha Bhavana. But when we are with many people, it is very easy to practice insight meditation. When we are alone, we concentrate our mind. With this concentrated mind, when we associate people, we immediately practice insight meditation. I is impermanent, forms are impermanent, I consciousness is impermanent. When we associate with someone, we immediately understand, now I am associating with my own mind, not associating with the physical persons or material world. For that, we have to concentrate our mind again and again, using the sitting meditation, closing our eyes. That is very important. Having experience with the concentration meditation, with the calm mind, when we go to the society, actually it is very easy to practice insight meditation. We can help them. We can do our day-to-day activities. We can do our jobs by practicing insight meditation, reflecting on impermanence. But other people don't know it, whether we practice Dhamma or not. We should not need to show it. But mentally, we are with the Dhamma, but physically, we are working with the ordinary people. That is very important. Actually, Dhamma is the real friend in our life. In the Dhamma, mindfulness is the best friend. Whenever we are with mindfulness, it means we are not alone. We have a friend. That is the real friend. Our material friends may leave us anytime. But this spiritual friend, the best friend, which is mindfulness, never leaves us until we die. That is the very important thing. Okay, that helps us to develop our inner peace, spiritual happiness. For that, I wish you all the best. By the power of this practice and listening to Dhamma, may all your spiritual and educational goals meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If you have any question, you can ask now. Mr. Will, our Dhamma friends. Yes.
I would just say thank you, Bhante, for making the Dhamma so clear. A wonderful meditation. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. Actually, these most of friends, they have been practicing for many years in this center. Even though monks are not here, they are here. They always practice Dhamma. They work a lot of activities with the Dhamma. They are so fortunate. We are so happy about you. We are very happy to meet you. Okay. We really bless you, appreciate your service and your practice. Okay, thank you again. If you also have any question, you can ask. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you are welcome. Okay. By the power of all these meritorious and spiritual activities that we accrue through all these sermons and practice, may our departed relatives and guardian deities also receive this merit, and may they enhance their spiritual energy. May they receive the blissful lives. Finally, may they also attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. By the power of all these meritorious and spiritual activities, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May all your spiritual goals success, and finally, may all of us attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca nirdukkha, bhayam pantā ca nirbhaya, sokam pantā ca nissokha, hontu sambe pipānino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.